Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. I am super excited to share with you another one sheet wonder, which I'm sure you are super excited too because I know how much you guys love these. I used the amazing new Eastern Beauty stamp set and coordinating framelits, so that's how I was able to get these fabulous little greeting pieces for all of the cards. Of course, I tilted it sideways, so that says "Enjoy Today," which is perfect for any occasion. And I used the Eastern Palace Designer Series paper. This is a new suite that's coming out in the new Stampin' Up! Catalog coming out in June, which is the 2017-2018 annual catalog. I am pumped. I can't wait to see everything in it and share it all with you. So today I'm actually going to show you how I made these 15 cards, but wait, there's more. 16, yes, I got 16 cards out of this one piece of 12 by 12 designer series paper. How amazing is that? And I love one sheet wonders because of course you're only using one sheet of 12 by 12 designer series paper, but you're also sticking to the same color scheme throughout all of the cards. So you don't have to pull out all your paper and all your stamps and everything. I used one stamp set and framelits. I used 4 ink pads, which are 3 of the new in colors, Lemon Lime Twist, which is this fabulous color, Tranquil Tide, which is this one here, which is the green, the dark green that you see in a lot of these samples, and then Fresh Fig, which is the purple that you see in all of these. The other color that I actually used was I used a little bit of Dapper Denim for those blue accents, because you'll notice in the designer series paper there's a little bit of blue as well as the green and the purple. So I just pulled it all together and added in a little bit of Dapper Denim, and of course to go with some man cards like this one here. This one's not very manly. This one here is a little manly. So that sort of thing. So let's get started on how I cut my 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper. Okay, so I thought I would use this piece out of the designer series paper pack because it is super bright, and then I know you guys can see it very well when I do all the cuts. Of course, here's the opposite side. So it kind of has that peacock look, which is just absolutely stunning. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the cuts as well as the cards that coordinate with each of those pieces that I used. So here we have our 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to first cut each piece into a 6 by 6 square. So I'm just cutting it in half, going in both directions. So there's a 6 by 6 square here. Now I have 2 6 by 6 squares, and then I'm going to cut this one in half as well at 6 by 6. So there I have my 4 6 by 6 squares. Now I'm going to take the first 6 by 6 square and cut it into 2-inch squares. So I'm just going to cut at 2 and 2, and then of course the leftover piece is 2 as well. So now I have those 3, and then now I'm going to cut each of these at 2 inches. So I'm going to end up with 9 little 2-inch squares with this one piece. So now with these 9 squares, I'm going to show you the cards that I created. This one here, I used 3 of the squares and then added one of the little tassels, which is also one of the embellishments, and some of the vinyl gold stickers, so super, super fabulous with those. And then of course I added the greeting there with the stamp set and framelits. This one I only used 2 of the squares and just did them on opposing corners. This one I used 2 squares as well and did it on a 4 by 4 square of the Fresh Fig, and then just added some of those gold vinyl stickers on the opposing corners. And then this one I only used 2 as well. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that was 4 cards with 1 square of 6 by 6. So now we have another square of 6 by 6. And this one we're actually going to cut into 4 3 by 3 squares. So I'm just going to cut it in half at 3. And again in half at 3. So there's 2 of our squares. And then we're going to cut this one in half as well. So for this one we have 4 3x3 squares, and I will show you the cards that I made with those. So this one I cut one of the squares in half and then did a corner down there and a corner here with the greeting in the middle. You could always stamp or decorate the middle as you wish. This one I did the same thing where I did the opposing corners where I cut one of these in half, just straight diagonally in half. Then this one I went ahead and I left the square as is. So I added all those extra little stamped pieces. So I stamped this little image on the corners and then the little dots, and then added my greeting there in the middle. And then I just layered that onto a piece of the Tranquil Tide, which that piece measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. This one, I just went ahead and placed that in the middle, very simple, and layered that onto the card with a greeting on top. For our next piece of 6x6, I'm actually going to cut this one. I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. So I'm going to end up with just this little bitty 1/2 inch strip that I ended up not using on any of my cards. So that's just a little extra strip. Now the rest of this I'm going to cut at 1 1/2. So I'm going to have 4 1 1/2 by 5 1/2 strips to use as great little border pieces on my cards. So I end up with these 4 pieces. So I have 4 pieces at 1 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then my extra little 1/2 inch by 6 that I'm not going to use, but I'll go ahead and show you the 4 samples. So here, this one, I just went ahead and put it there on the edge, did the little decoration of stamping and the greeting there in the middle, so I didn't use the framelits for that one. Then this one here, I actually did it there on the edge, but I added a little bit of that gold sticker to it and then decorated with my greeting. This one, I did it in the middle, and I added some of the design, or some of the pattern paper of fresh fig on the top and bottom, and ripped it just for a little bit of texture to the card with a greeting in the middle. And then this one here, I did it all along the edge and added my greeting that's stamped on my Very Vanilla card base. So again, I didn't actually use this piece. You could always use that for another little insert, like you could always add that to the inside of your card right here or something like that, just as a little extra piece to use up. But that's how I used that square. So our last 6x6 square, that's this one here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to cut this one at 4 inches. So now I have this piece, which is a 4x6, and I'm going to cut that into 2-inch pieces. So they're going to be 2x4, and of course that one's 2x4. So there's 3 2x4s, and then this leftover piece is 2 inches by 6 inches, and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. So again, I have one little leftover piece that I'm not going to be using, but then I used these 4 pieces to make a card. So this is the card, very similar to the ones I showed before, where I used this large piece, and then of course I added some of those fabulous little gold stickers and did the stamping. This one here, I used one of those pieces down here, the 2-inch by 4-inch, and just layered that. Then here's another one, similar style with the greeting there in the middle. And another one very similar too. And again, I did not use that little piece there. Of course, you could always use that on the inside. So out of all of that 12 by 12 paper, the only pieces I didn't use were these 2 little ones, but I still got 16 cards out of all of the rest of the paper. Let's bring back in all of those samples one more time. Of course, I will be having all of the pictures of these on my blog, laurasStampPad.com, so you can check those out there. And you can see all of the dimensions and everything written out on my blog. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, as I post every Tuesday and Thursday. And check out some of my other one-sheet wonders. Let me know in the comments below which one your favorite is. Happy stamping, everyone. Bye-bye.